Hello, Ken Jones from Circular Software here. I want to show you a bit of CircularFLO. CircularFLO, you can find out more at circularsoftware.com. I'm going to make a very accessible, reflowable EPUB today. I say EPUB, an Amazon file as well. And for accessibility, we're going to define sections and reading order, add landmarks and page lists, add area roles, set image descriptions, and define accessibility metadata. If that doesn't make much sense to you, then don't worry. There's no coding required. So CircularFLO is going to do this for you. We're going to start with an existing InDesign document. And as I say, we're going to make an EPUB and an Amazon file as a reflowable ebook today. CircularFLO is an app that's running on this Mac. You need a Mac with InDesign to run CircularFLO. So we're going to use the latest Mac OS Big Sur and the latest InDesign 2021. You don't have to have all of those, but it works on those too. So let me open an InDesign document. Let me just make a copy of this one. It's December 2020 as I'm making this demo. And this is a print document. It's a nicely designed document by Nigel French. It's got some different styles, of course, paragraph styles, character styles, object styles. And we've got running heads and folios and nice choice of fonts and different chapter openers and all sorts of things, but it hasn't really been prepared as an ebook document. It's prepared as a nice looking print document. So let me just show you a bit more of it. So you've got styles for poems, and you've got image captions and etc. So it's a good looking document that we want to try and convert to an ebook as much as we can, and that's where CircularFLO comes in. So let me just show you how it works. So first of all, I'm going to open up my accessibility tools. So there's lots of tools in CircularFLO, and these are the ones we're going to use most of all today. And I'm going to click on Add Metadata Panel. So metadata is information about the book inside the book itself. So if I look in my InDesign file info, you can put in the title of the document. So it will remember ones I've done when I was practicing. Lewis Carroll wrote Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. Okay. Also, if we want to add more to the metadata, then this is how CircularFLO works. It sort of adds its own layers and adds its own panels. This is just really an InDesign table that we can edit, and it all gets stored into the InDesign document. So let me just put in a dummy 13-digit ISBN. We could put in more information such as the subject and the publisher, etc. I'm just going to add in a little source here. That is required to get the best accessibility score when we're going to generate a page list later on. Every page of the print book needs to relate to a page in an actual in the ebook needs to relate to a page in the print book. That's what that means. Also, in this metadata panel, in the latest EPUB 3.2, you declare how accessible your ebooks are. So we can do synchronized audio. We're not going to do that in this video. So we're going to say no, it doesn't have that. It does have a reading order, so I might change that. It does have a table of contents, so I'll change that. But otherwise, it doesn't have audio, like I say, or flashing or sound, etc. So leave it generally as it is, but this is where we're declaring how accessible the book is. The next thing I want to do is look at the sections. So not every book has a table of contents generated in InDesign. This one does. So I can just say here I want to use the InDesign table of contents. If yours doesn't, that's fine. You can just paste or type into here the table of contents, and that'll get picked up. And if I look at the book and the table of contents, having the actual page numbers written out in the table of contents can be misleading or confusing. So I'm going to actually, in InDesign, so I'm using InDesign to make me a new table of contents, and this one has got, this time I'm going to have no page numbers on the page. Okay, so just using InDesign, I've made a slight change to the table of contents there. Now let's add some section markers. So for this, let's go to the first page. Add a section label to the active page. What that means is by identifying which part of the book you're in, that really helps with the navigation within the ebook. So this is the half title page. I'm going to say that's what that is, and it gives a little sort of signpost. So it's chunking the book up, or it will be when it's exporting, chunking the book into sections, and some of these sections are important enough to become landmarks, a bit like the table of contents, but other sort of important places within the book. So I can do this, say this is the title page, and I can say this is the imprint page. And you don't have to know what all these are, so it can be quite confusing, but the ones that you use most of all, you'll soon get the hang of. Also, because we're using a paragraph style called dedication for the actual dedication, what we could do is auto add the labels. So if it finds a dedication, or throughout the book, if it finds some other places like the TOC or the table of contents, the foreword, the preface, the introduction, that's all being now automatically added. It doesn't get everything right. It doesn't want to have 2 epigraphs. It just wants one going over a couple of pages. And then the chapters are signposted because we're using a style which starts with chapter on this page. So each chapter will have that chapter start already added. That's all you got to do. So I think that's everything. Oh yeah, there's the acknowledgements page. I need to add that. Acknowledgements, I've learned, is spelled slightly differently in American English. So we want to identify that with the correct stamp. That's everything we've got to do to add in the sections. This image, oh yeah, there's another tool I want to show you in CircularFLO tools, image tools. We've got some tools for changing the sizes of images, but this one is non-anchored objects highlighting. It finds it's with reflowable, especially we want to place the images into the text so they appear at the right place, and it's highlighting here that we've got an image that's got a problem. I want to just select that with the selection tool in InDesign and drag it into my text there. Yeah. So now I think I've done it. I'm going to check, and now it tells me that all my images have been anchored. So this image, it has an object style which can help, and it's being placed into the paragraph of text. I have seen some ebooks where publishers make an image of this first page to sort of preserve this style, which you could do, but I think it's more accessible to have live text. So we'll see what we get. So that's that. That's just one image. There's another 40 images that I want to identify. So here's one. It didn't flag it as not being anchored, so I know that it is anchored into the text, and you can see that there. But for this one, I want to add some image descriptions. So by clicking that button, it's going to look for all the images in the document and just highlight very visually if they haven't got alt tags added. So what alt tags are alternative text that can describe the important parts of the image if they're important images to the book, just to for people who can't see the images for some reason, we want to describe what that image is of. So how we can do that is just by typing. If I just select my type tool and get to the right place and just say the white rabbit looks at his watch. Looks at his watch. We've got spell check, so I can spell things correctly. And as soon as that is a nice visual way, you could maybe get somebody else to be checking these or supplying these. I'll show you something on that in a moment. Let me just click that button again. If it goes green like that, it means that it's now being applied as the alt tag into that image. But what I want to do is actually for the other 39 images in this book, I want to hand them off to a colleague or to a service that can do professional image description. So preparing images for description, what that's going to do is every image will be exported to a graphic, and also a PDF of every page of the document that has an image on it is made. That helps show the context of the image. So to get the best descriptions of the image, you want to see where it is on the page, what the text is like around it. And here it is. I can send that off to Textbox, which is a service which can describe those images. Or you could get someone in your company, if you have that sort of resource, to look at these images. And it tells you what page they're on, and they all have a unique code. And then to have this positional PDF, as I say, this is the PDF that shows where these pictures are on the page, and only the pages that have images are in this positional PDF. And alongside that, we've got a TSV, a tab separated value document, where we can place in our descriptions. So shorter, brief descriptions, and then full or extended descriptions can be added in this list. So somebody else can be doing that. Maybe we're not the right person to be dreaming up what the tag should be if we're just laying out the book. That's a different skill perhaps. So I'm going to import now the descriptions from a returned one from Textbox, which is going to look at and bring in the alt tags for the whole 40 images throughout this book. And alongside that brief, this one is has got a caption on this image, so we don't need both. And if I just pick an image, let's just pick one like this. Alice pulls back the curtain and discovers a little door. So that's a nice description of that image. Now maybe this one has also an extended description. No, that one doesn't. They don't all have an extended description. Let me pick this one. No, I should have picked one in advance. Here. Yes. Okay, so Alice is, the alt tag for page 11 is saying, a very large Alice crouches in the hallway, which is a nice, simple, quick one-line description. But the longer description is, she is now fully 9 feet tall and her arms and legs are in proportion. She barely fits in an enormous hall, etc. So there's more to it in the extended description. So they're both referring to the same image, and we can have both. So both of those have been pulled in from that other document. Now I'm ready to export. So in CircularFLO, I'm just going to click this button, create reflowable EPUB and Amazon file. So we're making 2 files, and I'm just going to save this document. I'm going to choose to add a cover. There we go. Yeah, so we're making a Kindle enhanced typesetting document, which supports the fonts. So these are Adobe fonts, which will make it to the Kindle file, which is important. And also we're making an EPUB, of course. So the EPUB will have full accessibility. And you can see what's happening here. It's exported this document. It's actually making a duplicate of this document because it's doing some page marking. So every page, if you're quick, you'll see we're getting a little marker of where the pages are. Also, any section is being added. So the section markers are being added for our export. And we're duplicating the document, so we're not changing anything in the original document, just for this document that we're exporting. That's going to be exported, and then it's going to be altered. So the export that we get is still InDesign that's exporting the EPUB, but then we go and improve on what we get from InDesign. So all of the sections are being correctly named, and we're going to improve the metadata. As I say, the CSS is going to be streamlined. I'm filling for time. It only takes a couple of minutes, but it'll be ready soon. I'm confident. Oh, there we go. Something's happening. So I can reveal the EPUB. This is the one we've just made. Let me open it with EPUB checker first of all, because we want it to be a valid EPUB. We've got a valid EPUB. open it with Ace by Daisy. It's looking a bit messy on screen now. Let me close some of these things. We've got no violations and our metadata is pulled through. So all this stuff that we need to have a really well described book. Also our images, the alt text is coming through here, and I think the one with the description, the caption, is in here somewhere as well. There it is. So that's the one with the image caption, and it tells you where they are, and there's a clue here to how well we've named the code inside the book. You don't have to worry about the code, but if you want to look at the code, let me do that. Let me first show you this is the Kindle version. So we've got a nicely working Kindle version with our scooting around a bit too quick. I'm excited. So we've got our forward, our profs. Oh yeah, let me just use it over here. We've got our chapter 1. We've got our drop cap with our running all caps. We've got our headers. We've got our image description in our image. This is all live and it could be changed. You know, the size of this could be changed, and the font could be changed. It's nice that it's pulled in the actual font that we've used and set in InDesign, but we could change the font if we wanted to because it's all live. So it's a reflowable document in Kindle. Also the EPUB, let's open it in Calibrio Reader. So this is a great reader, demo.calibrioreader.com. We can open it in, and we can see the font, of course, coming in. We've got our table of contents. We've got our extended image descriptions. We've got our styling. And of course, with Reflowable, we can change the look of it very easily. We've also got our structure. We've got the title. We've got the table of contents as we've pulled in. We've got our landmarks. So if we want to go to a particular place within the book, we've got our page list. So every page is identified. If we want to go to a particular page of our book, then there we go. And also our accessibility metadata is in here somewhere as well. So metadata about the title. So it's a really nicely made working EPUB. If you're the sort of person who likes to look at code, then let's do that. Don't worry if you don't want to look at the code. It's not, you don't have to. Just rely on CircularFLO. However, if you are looking at code, isn't this nice code? This is well structured, well named in a sequential order, the sections of the document. If I open up the first chapter, let's have a look. In our code, we've got our language in the right place. We've got our title named in the right place. These are the sort of things you should have, but you don't get from InDesign. We've got ARIA roles where we need them. We've got our page breaks. If you just go down, there's page 2, there's page 3 within the code. We've got our image descriptions, our image with our alt text and our longer image description in here. So it's really nicely made code, I hope you agree. In our OPF, we've got our accessibility metadata, and everything is, is valid. We've already seen that. Our CSS has been improved and streamlined, so we haven't got all the stuff we don't need, but we have got the stuff that we do want. We've changed the values from pixels to ems to support reflowable a lot more. And as I say, the ARIA roles, the language, the page markers, everything's in there. So I hope you agree that this is a nicely made ebook, and I invite you to try it. As I say, go to circularsoftware.com and you can get a version. If you want to use the files that I've used in this demo, then they're available too. Just contact us, and hope you enjoy it. Thanks for watching.